I've been a priest for almost 53 years. This May will be 53 years. I was ordained 1972. People see it's kind of a ministry for life. I think there's a plaque was given to me somewhere, not sure if I still have it, there's a great retirement plan, heaven. So it kind of means, as long as you're alive, while you're still a priest, you're still willing to minister.
Every priest has his own existence. It's just like the apostles. There was 12 apostles, but they each had their own individual things that they did well and things that they couldn't do well, and so forth.
But Monsignor Leach was here, and he was doing Mass. He was daily visiting the homebound parishioners, hospitals, nursing homes.
I enjoyed working with the people. I especially enjoyed working with the elder people. Every day I would go out and visit them either in their homes or nursing homes or hospitals, wherever they were.
When he could no longer drive, we put out the word and had a great response of people who volunteered to drive him. So there was a list of drivers. He continued to go out every day. I enjoyed having him around the rectory. He loved telling the old stories, see? And the people got to see him. Wow. In March, you'll be 67 years a priest.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it all. That I never have doubted that I made the wrong choice.
Well done, good and faithful servant. You've served the Lord for 60, 70 years. Wow, well done. The joy of heaven for them one day. But shouldn't we support that? Shouldn't we remember, prayerfully support them and the retired collection?